card today that has a rectangle that we're going to turn into a little bit of a square, but not quite. So it'll be irregular, but we'll show you how you can get around that. So it's kind of fun. So to introduce the dies, we are going to be using the Caribbean Collection background, or at least a portion of it because it comes in pieces. We're also going to be using the St. Barts from the Caribbean Collection, and this will be our focal element. For our sentiment, we are going to go back to the Italian Collection, which is an earlier release, the Decorative frames. And we're going to put the charming hearts in our corners as just a nice little detailed item. And the sentiment comes from the Amazing Sentiments, the clear stamp set. Okay, so I think what we'll do first is a little bit of cutting, just so you can see how nicely the dies will cut. So I'm going to start out with the Caribbean background, and this actually comes in 4 pieces. So I'm going to use this decorative oval that comes as an insert. Just going to pop this down onto a piece of white card and tape it into place. I've already had some tape left over, and we'll run it through the grand caliper to cut. It's beautiful in its detail. I just love this, and I know you get so many different uses out of it. So you can see that cut beautifully. Let me use my tool-in-one here, and we'll just take some of the pieces out to show you. There we go. Isn't that lovely? Look at how pretty that is. I just love the way that background comes out. So that will be the base, and we'll put a little bit of an aqua underneath it. Let me put this back, and we'll tidy up all our little bits. There we go. And I'll show you what it's going to look like here. So you can see the aqua coming through that. So let's go ahead and glue that into place, and then we can move forward. A little bit of glue on the back in the center, around the edge. And if you wanted, you could actually go around the back side of the design there, but I'm just going to do a quick job here and pop it down into place. Now I've already cut and put on 2 of the decorative corners there, but I'm going to go ahead and do the other 2. Just show you there's a left and a right facing on these. So you can do a perfect square, and they're really nice. The other thing that's nice to mention about this corner is that it is asymmetrical. However, it's been designed so that you only have to nip away a little section of it if you want it to be perfectly symmetrical. So that's really nice. So we'll put this into this corner. Just give it a second to catch. A little bit of glue on the back of this one. Just kind of hit some strategic spots there. I think that'll hold. Oops, a little more. There we go. Pop that into that corner. That's nice. And my aqua card is a tiny bit off, so let me just peek this out of the corner here. There. Tidy up my little messy spot. Okay, so now I can go ahead and mat and layer this onto my background, which I've gone ahead and pierced. Put a little bit more glue on the back, and we'll get that started. Just center that right inside of those pierced lines. There we go. So we can start building up from there. Now the next thing I want to do is to cut the St. Barts. So this one has a decorative insert with an extra cutting edge. So we're going to use these 2, bring over our plates, and let's tape them so they're nice and secure. So put that right in the middle, and then let's put the outer edge around it, and just kind of do an eyeball and make sure it looks even all the way around it. I'm happy with that. And tape over both of them, and that will hold it nice and secure for you. Run it through. Let's see if that needs a second pass. I think it does, so I'm going to turn it, or actually what I can do is, since I have the smaller plates, I'll turn them and run it through this way. So either way, it gets a 90-degree turn to it. And I'm going to just do a quick emboss on this so you can see how pretty it comes out. Change that out, put it onto my embossing mat, and run it through. Anytime you have a separate cutting edge on your dies, you get an extra added little emboss from that line all the way around, and it does really bring some beauty into your dies. So let's untape. We can reuse our removable tape. I like to keep it on my grand caliber so it's nice and handy. And I'll tell you what, let's do a little bit of a rub over it with the two-in-one, take out some of the bits. And where you have your tape, you're going to have to poke those out. There we go. And just a few extra little pieces need to come out. Okay. Now, got all that sorted. So let's put these back onto our magnetic sheets. Okay. So I've got the St. Barts here. So what I'm going to do is just do a little bit of cutting. So I'm going to bring in my little paper cutter and cut it down the center. Okay, so I've got two pieces of that. I'm going to line them up so they're directly on top of each other. And then right at this little spot here, top and bottom, I'm going to cut a little bit more. Just put that right onto the cutting edge and give it a quick cut. Okay, so now I can piece this back together, pop it upside down, put it right together like that, bring a bit of tape over, get it as tight as you can, tape that into place. So now I have something that's a little bit more square, but it's kind of, like I said earlier, irregular, so it's not quite square. So what I thought would be fun is to take two of these and to line these up so that you have a little bit of an offset. So if you put the top ones where the holes match, then the two side holes are a little bit offset. So it gives you kind of a pretty look and just something different that I think is, you know, just a little extra to show on your cards. Get that down, and I'm going to glue these two in place just like that. And you've got just a really pretty pattern that comes in from where they overlay each other. So let's bring our card back over. And I've got some mounting foam on the back. So I'm going to seat this so that the top section is right in the middle of that background. That looks pretty good. There we go. And I've done a little bit of stamping ahead of time. So I've taken one of the sentiments off the set, stamped it in black, using some Adirondack Aqua ink to match my card. I'm going to do just a light bit of inking around the edge here. Just come into where that sentiment starts to show and add a little bit of color to it, leaving the center white so you get a really nice little contrast. There we go. Now, because that ink is still a tiny bit wet, what you want to do is give it a little shot with the heat tool before you try to attach anything to it so it's nice and dry. There we go. And just to be on the safe side, I'm going to add a little bit of glue too. I've gone ahead and made a frame using the Italian Collection decorative frames with the white and the aqua behind it. I've added a little bit of mounting foam to the back already. I'm just going to peel the backing paper off of that. And like I said, just a tad of glue on the back, just in case that's a tiny bit wet. We'll keep it nice and secure. There we go. Pop that right over the sentiment, getting it as centered as you like. Give it a second. And now we're going to trim away the excess from underneath. Make sure that doesn't slide. There we go. Keep it under the edge of that frame and you won't see the cut edge. So I've got a nice little frame sentiment there, and I'll just pop that in the center of our squares with a little bit of glue, right like that. There we go. So you can add some pearls, dress it up. You could even add a few flowers if you like, but it gives you a really nice simple card, not too overdone. Depending on what your recipient likes, you can change it to your taste and even colors. But I think that's absolutely beautiful. I hope you've enjoyed today's video and come back and visit us soon.